Hi, I'm Gary. Welcome to the channel. Welcome back if you've been here before. Today I'm looking in the box of the Bf-109G 14 Fighter from Eduard in 1/48 scale, and this is the Profi Pack edition. Now, if you like the show, and I hope you do, please do remember, best way to support the channel for free is to subscribe. If you also hit the bell, you'll be notified of all my future content as it is published. And of course, anything you see on my channel you like, please do give it the old imperial thumbs up on the like button below, because every like counts. This kit was sent to me by channel supporter Dane Stewart. Dane, thank you very much, my friend. Okay, let's make a start and have a look at this Bf-109G14 in 1/48 scale from Eduard. Well, here's the box then. Lovely piece of box artwork on the front showing a Bf-109G being chased by some Spitfire Mark 9s, it appears, at low level over presumably France. The box says 1/48 scale and it's a 14G/8S. This side of the box, just very basic information, although it does include the product code, which is 82162. And on the other long side are the 5 schemes that are included in this. And of course, this gold background here symbolizes it's a Profi Pack. And at this end again, product, scale and code are repeated. It's a nice glossy looking box, very smart indeed. But let's see what you get inside for your money. It's a top opening box. I always prefer top opening boxes for many reasons, not least of which you can always keep stuff in them. There is the instruction leaflet, which we'll come back to. There are some plastic bags with all the parts in, one for transparent parts, one here for some grey plastic, more here for some grey plastic. There's the decal sheets here, and there's some stencils there and some markings there. And here there is a sheet of pre-painted photo etch and a mask set. We'll have a look at all these bits in a bit more detail. So alphabetically, the first of the frames is H here. A large proportion of which you're not going to use. You're not going to use any of this here, these bits here, the bombs you're not going to use, half the wheels you're not going to use, none of these propellers, bomb rack. Just basically this sort of stripe there is going to be used. But anyway, that's frame H. Frame I similarly has quite a lot of things that you're not going to be using, but there's a few things you will. So up here, some of the flaps here, essentially all these parts down here you probably will use. Some of these bits here, this rudder, yeah, some of it you use. Some of the parts are specific to this kit, so like the wings. So they have their own frame. In fact, there's 2 frames. This is N and X, still joined by the injection sprue. So this is 2 frames N and X for the wings. Then there's frame V again, which is type specific. This is the propeller we're actually going to be using. Not using this rudder, however. That's already on another frame. The fuselage parts mainly. And then there's a transparent frame. We'll be using the fuel line here. We'll be using these lights, these parts here, and this canopy. Have a closer look at the plastic here. It all seems very nice, fairly smooth. There's a couple of flow features in it here. But other than that, it all looks very nice, nice riveting. Very clean, very crisp. And that's pretty nice actually. But then it's kind of what I expect from Eduard, to be fair. On the inside, you can see up by the cockpit there's more detail in the walls, because where it's going to be visible. So you don't need so much detail anywhere else, so they haven't put it in, which is good. Not sure if that's... I'm hoping that's not a thing, because that will definitely get broken off if that's supposed to be. I suspect it might not be. I might have to get rid of that ejector pin there by the tail, because it might stop the 2 tail halves coming together. The rest should be fine. Generally speaking, parts are beautiful. This is very beautifully detailed. The rivets for once at 1/48, the rivets actually look like they might be to scale, which is fantastic. It does mean you have to be really careful when you're doing stuff, especially panel lining and stuff like that, and joining halves, that when you put them together and you do a bit of sanding, that you actually manage to keep the rivets, or you can put the rivet lines back in, of course, with a riveting tool. But very nice. The pieces are injected on the connecting faces rather than directly into the side. So you will see when you put the parts together. Actually, no, that does both. So here, where the feed comes in, it feeds into the top of the part, but also onto the connecting face of the part. So that's going to be a bit more of a challenge to get rid of, and it's also very, very close to this filler cap here. So that one in particular is going to be an interesting thing to get rid of. And then, as you can see, on all the panel joints, let's see if I can get it focused properly here. All the joints have got bits of riveting next to them, so when that all goes together, I might have to do some panel line rescribing and some re-riveting along the top there. I'll see what it ends up like. But generally, the plastic's nice, crisp, clean, solid. You can see here some more flow lines in the plastic. It's a bit heavy, actually, by modern standards, I would say. But it sort of kind of follows the lumpiness of the cockpit here, which is kind of cute. So maybe you can see it sort of goes across this one here, but it follows the line of that part there, so that's okay. That would be fine. That would be fine. Yeah, generally pretty good. Likewise with the wings, they are nicely riveted. Panel lines look good. There's cutout obviously for the leading edge slats. I'm a bit upset that the pitot comes as a molded part, because that's going to break before I finish the kit. So there we go. There's a bit of a flow line there, which isn't too terrible. So we should be okay with these. That's the undersides. Again, quite heavy flow lines there in the plastic. And I don't know if that's actually I don't know if that's on the actual plane, whether that is a bump or whether that's a mould issue. You can see here there's a cutout in the mould there next to the undercarriage. And it kind of looks like it's sunk very slightly, or it's raised even very slightly there. It's a bit odd. But all the rest of it looks fine. I don't know whether that will ever show up. The rest of them look great. And the cockpit parts look fine. Okay, nicely molded. The instrument panel here, if you're not going to use the photo etch, use this instrument panel, and it's enough relief there that you can dry brush it nicely, or you can maybe get decals for it or whatever. But I'm going to be using the photo etch one that comes with it, so that doesn't matter. Undercarriage legs here are fine. Everything's good there. Yeah, the small parts are nicely molded. So here's the main decal sheet, printed by Eduard, I assume. Show the German markings, also some Italian markings, because there are versions of the aircraft in the kit here that you can make as an Italian aircraft. Interesting that the swastikas here are printed, but there's also a cut-off, so I presume for some countries they cut that off and they don't deliver it, but then they've got the part-made bits here, so you can still make a swastika for your aircraft should you wish to be historically accurate. These are the white lines that go over the spinners, and the colours generally are slightly muted. That's because these are the new type of decals. All of their decals now come with the a carrier film on the top of the decal itself, which then has to be peeled off after the decal is set. And it always mutes the colours. It makes it very difficult to see what the colours are actually like, but generally speaking, they look pretty good. There's also a sheet containing all the stencils for the Bf-109G, all the don't walk lines, warnings, all the filler cap information, things like that. Here we are with the decals close up, and you can see this is the instrument panel. Here is my 0.5mm pencil lead for scale. You can see the design and definition of the print is very, very fine indeed, and very, very well registered. You can see also in the colours of the warning signs here, the octane markings and things like that. Very clear, very well registered. This little Satan, how exciting, marking here, and the actual aircraft numbers of Italian flags, all registered very, very well indeed. And then when we come to the tiny decal, I mean, yeah, these are like 0.2 of a millimeter high, some of these things, and they still have the vague look that they might mean something. Obviously, as soon as you get to about 0.5 mm size, you can read very, very clearly. These are very, very sharply printed. Included in this kit, as it's a Profi Pack, is the photo etch sheet. You can see here, photo etch for the instrument panels here, and covers for the instruments as well. So what you have is the instruments actually sort of sit quite proud with the bezels, as it were. There's a set of bezels that go on these instruments, and then these things can be seen through the gaps in here. So this becomes a bezel, and that's the bezel on top. Really nicely designed. All the actual instrument faces have little spots of clear acrylic on them to give them a sort of a glassy look. And the rest of the things are things like radiator inlets and outlets. These are the flame damper things to sort of block out the shield from the flames from the engine for the pilot when it's flying at night. Comes with a full set of straps as well, which is really nice. So it's a good set of photo etch here, and they're all pre-coloured as well, which makes life very easy. And there's also a die-cut sheet of paint masks for the canopy and wheels and things like this. You can just about see the markings there. We'll have a look at that as we actually build the aircraft. We'll be able to see all these different bits go. And then the instruction sheet, it's a very comprehensive history, actually, of the Bf-109 here. And then the Gustav itself, a bit more information specifically about this mark of 109. Very nicely presented, very beautifully presented indeed, actually. Lovely gloss full colour print, which is quite unusual for many of these things. Now, inside we have some translation of what all of the icons mean. We have the frame maps, and you can see in blue here all the parts you're not actually going to need. Included in the frame maps are the photo etch and the clear parts there. And there's colours here. The colours are given for the Gunzer schemes and for mission models paints. You can fairly easily change these out for others, largely because an awful lot of them have got RLM codes. So they're very, very easy to swap out with other manufacturers, should you wish. The instructions are very, very much what you kind of expect from Eduard. They're very clear. I think they're very clear anyway. There's a lot of options here. A lot of colour goes in different places. They actually tell you what the colours are, as well as giving you the codes at each point. They tell you that this is yellow, that's flat back, and that bit is left clear, for example. Here you've got bits in red that you can cut off and replace with photo etch parts. Other photo, everything photo etch is PE something. And there's all sorts of different varieties and variations you can use. Really clean, very clear, good use of colour. The blue, pale blue just works, actually, the way they do this. So red you can cut off because there's other things. Photo etch normally. How to assemble the photo etch system for the instrument panel, for example. And nothing looks awful on this kit so far. There are some for different marking schemes. You have either cut them off or don't come off those extra trim tab like bits. They're probably not trim tabs actually, they're probably something else, and so someone will tell me what they are, no doubt. The assembly of the radiators, you can use photo etch or you can use plastic parts as well, of course. The leading edge slats come as separate parts. Obviously, if you're depicting it in flight, they'll be retracted. On the ground, they'll pop out because they're spring loaded, and they pop back in with the airspeed. As the aircraft goes faster, so the flaps go in. Radiator flaps here, if you're having the main flaps lowered, then you'll need the radiator flaps as well lowered to match. Different things. Oh, this open canopy, there's a little stay that comes with it for the open canopy, which is a really nice touch, I think. The photo etch masks here for the various bits as well. And then the schemes. The first one here is for an aircraft of JG6 in January 1945. Largely RLM 70, 75 and 82 with RLM 76 underside. There's an aircraft from Germany in autumn 44 from JG300. Very nice looking scheme. There's this one, Walter Kerner's flight JG11 in October 44. Also a very pleasant scheme indeed. There's an aircraft of JG5 in Stavanger in Norway in March 45. And there's an aircraft flown from the Italian Air Force at Malpensa, which I think is near Milan. Malpensa is an airport these days. For the first squadron, first group. And you can see there's lots of extra sprayed on bits of attempts at camouflage. The crosses have been painted out, the fasci symbol put back on. And then on the back are the stencil positions. There's various different stencils. Sometimes there's more than one option because it might be in red or black, depending on the actual scheme and the background of colour as well. But all of the different stencils are there as well. So it's a nice full colour brochure, basically. Very clear instructions. Really good. This is a Profi Pack. It needs a professional looking instruction book. There we have it. A very classy looking kit indeed. Really nice instructions. Still jury's out a bit on the decals. I've yet to try them. Maybe I will with this one. But still, a beautiful set nonetheless. If you enjoyed the show, please do remember, subscribe for free by hitting the subscribe button and hit the bell, and you'll be notified of all my future content. And anything on my channel you like, please give it the imperial thumbs up on the like button below, because every like counts. Thank you so much for joining me today. Hope to see you again very soon. Take good care now, and goodbye.